What's that? Who's that audience? Like, when you're going out there, when you're out there on the range, who are those people that are coming to see you?
So kind of like same reason why I started the whole Instagram thing was I realized, because I was always searching for some place to go to train, to find more knowledge outside of what I was being told in the Marine Corps.
Mm-hmm.
And that was tough in California because at the time, there really weren't anyone around. And then with California's restrictive laws,
it's tricky.
I can't, how am I supposed to train with an AR platform if I can't even like legally have one?
Right. I have some things to say about that, but
yeah. And like there were some people in Arizona, but it's like I could just never get the time off to make the trip out there. And then again, I was like, I'm gonna, put a mag release in my rifle, and then I'm gonna get pulled over on the way back, and I'll get arrested. Like that's my luck, the way I view it.
Well, based on all the things that you've told, all the stories you've told, that is exactly what would happen to you.
Yeah,
and you're probably not talking your way out of that one.
So when we, my wife and I took orders to North Carolina, I was like, I thought I knew that there were companies on the area and that there should be more, and there should be more gun ranges, and the laws are different. And like, I'm going to get out there and I'm going to spend this last, 4.5 years of my career doing everything I possibly can. I would try to push it through the unit. I'll do all the training I can with the unit, and I'll do all the training I can on the outside. And I was just going to do all these things to like set myself up for what I wanted to do after, which, initially my plan post Marine Corps had been to do, overseas security contract.
Okay. A lot of guys doing that, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Pays good.
So
you know the drill.
That was like, the plan. So I'm going to like do everything to set myself up for success. And then I realized that like, there really aren't a whole lot of trainers in North Carolina. There's not a lot going on. And I found some things here and there and started working through that. So, getting back into the actual question was like, I want to be able to set this up. And initially, like, I didn't want to do this. I was like, I do not want to start a company. I don't want to run a company. I don't want to muddy the waters by being another dude out there in the sphere, right? Like, I should get on with an established company, And again, that went back to like why I was trying to do this whole social media thing. Because like I can do that. I can be a trainer with one of these companies like, Cogworks or Bear Solutions. These companies are established and out there. And then, I'll deploy overseas. And I'll do, 60, 90 days.
And when you're back,
Yeah, when I'm in between like deployments, I do training. And I figured I could also leverage it like, hey, you don't have a lot of stuff going on in North Carolina. I can be your North Carolina guy and your East Coast guy.
Makes good sense, yeah.
And oddly enough, it did kind of work out. Orion Training Group, we've been going back and forth through messaging, and I made a post the day I cleaned out my lockers and left my office for the last time. And he called me up and he's like, hey, dude, do you want to work with us? And I was like, sure, let's do it.
Things are looking up.
And I'm like, cool. He's like, all right, well, I'm going to need you to create an LLC. And that way, I pay the LLC and it protects the money from the government.
Business for me to do this, yeah.
And I was like, okay. So, I created the LLC, and the social media thing had been growing. I think at that point, I was like 18,000 followers. And I had a good number of people would reach out. They were like, hey, do you offer training? Do you do private classes? Hey, do you ever go to this range? I'd love to meet up with you at this range. I'm like, okay, there are people who are searching for this education the same way I was.
Are these civilians?
These are Marines.
Gotcha.
These were Marines who were following the page, and they were asking me this question. I'm like, okay, so there is demand signal for this, and I've now created this LLC, so let's make a website and announce classes. And at the same time, I reached out to a friend. I was like, hey, this guy we know, did he get that range set up? And he's like, yeah, he got the range. Here's his number. Give him a call. I gave him a call. And they're like, oh, yeah, sure. Like, we'd love to have you out here and train. I'm like, okay, so make the website, set up some classes, and I announced it. And I thought it would be a lot of the local dudes coming out and seeking extra training. And in actuality, the Marines make up maybe 40%
That still seems like
clients.
a big number. Yeah.
The majority are just whoever.
Civilians.
Some law enforcement. And yeah, just regular everyday. I mean, some of them used to be in the military.
Okay.
You know, we had guys who were in the Marine Corps, were in the Army,
So they can
were in the
relate to you a
Navy.
little bit. Yeah.
And but you know, they've been out for, you know, months or years. And it's kind of funny because like I have people who have come out from California,
Yep.
up from Florida, from Wisconsin, Kentucky, you know, Georgia, New Jersey, New York. So I have a lot of people that actually travel down to North Carolina to train. And it's actually not what I would expect to be. I did expect to be more of a local crowd. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's about 30-40% military, and then the rest are, you know, civilian or law enforcement. And I would say the majority are now civilian. Even if some of them did serve, they're now, you know, like
Yep.
me, just civilian.
Trying to stay relevant. So,
Yeah, just
quote
stay
unquote.
relevant, keep learning. You know, it's a subject that's interesting. You know, and a lot of them they're not looking to get into competition.
Yep.
They just want to be better
Stay fresh. Yeah.
with their stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I've got a handful of guys like they come out to like almost every rifle class. Like some of them have taken the same rifle class like 3 times because they just like coming out to the class. And I did ask them, like, you guys are like getting information, right? You're not just coming back because, you know, they're like, no, we come back because we like taking the class. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, you know, you could take like a pistol class too. Like, yeah, we don't own pistols.
Really?
So, yeah. So we're just going to keep taking the rifle class. I'm like, all right, you know,
That's
whatever.
great. Whatever gets them out there.
Yeah.
I think that's exactly right, man. Give the people what they want.